Hello, bonjour, kia ora and welcome to everyone here tonight, especially to my family and friends and the fabulous woman represented in my first show at Chambers Art Gallery. Welcome. My name is Jacqueline Macleod and I have been a painter based here in Auckland for 7 years. I've been teaching a little bit, but mostly in my studio full time. And I am living here with my husband Grant and little Scottish Terrier, Badger. I am of French and Scottish heritage, hence the name Femmes de Force. So, Femmes de Force could not have come together without all of you here, but I would especially like to thank Jules at the gallery for her superb organisation and smoothing my furrowed brow over COVID times. Obviously I cannot be there to celebrate with you or to meet the lovely Dorothy Hellier, who is also showing tonight in person, but we have met online and greeted each other that way. So speaking of technological forms, here I am presenting to you tonight in video. So I want to tell you a little bit about my show, and I promise not to be too long with that. So I grew up in the age of feminism in the 80s, and you could be anyone you wanted to be. I was told this by the strongest woman in my life, my mother and my grandmothers. And my grandmothers worked right through into their 60s, not because they had to, but because they wanted to. They wanted to be independent. And I always remember my mother saying to me, make sure you travel, go overseas, buy your own house, be independent, have a good career, and do the things that you want to do in life. And I have done that. I've been fortunate enough to do that. So, and also during that time I attended Christchurch Girls High School, where they were a very forward-thinking school, and they still are today. Look at what happened recently this year with calling out young boys in terms of sexual behaviour. So they're brave, and they made me, in a way, they attributed to me being brave as well. So in the age of gloss on TV and very big shoulder pads and big hair, women made very big statements, not just aesthetically, visually, but in terms of who they were. They represented themselves in positions of leadership and positions of power. And in this country, we're renowned for that. First woman to have the vote in the world. We've got two leaders, women leaders in political positions right now, National Party and Labour. We've got many different women in positions of power, and we're fortunate to have that. So Femmes de Force, what does that mean? It means woman of strength, woman for woman, woman standing on the shoulders of others past, in particular the group I've focused on as a representation in this show, and you'll notice that the four women collectively grouped together, that's group one, I call them, and that is myself being inspired by the three other women that I'm showing with, and that's Olivia Spencer-Bauer, that is Julia Morrison, the amazing Julia Morrison, whom I was fortunate enough to go to her studio this year and meet her, and she's inspired me over the years and my students as well. And I wanted to represent her, and Rita Angus, of course, is there within the group of four. And these women, this group was started at Ilam in the 1930s by Evelyn Page, and you had to be invited into this group. And this group of women broke away from the traditions of romanticism and golden misted painting that was kind of an offset that was brought over from England. So they broke into hard linear lines, and they decided that they were just going to say what they wanted to say without fear of judgment, and they certainly did that. And so today we have this incredible body of work that we can look to, and that's what I mean by standing on the shoulders of others past. So we also pay homage to strong, resilient and creative women of New Zealand that hold the door open for others, like Olivia Spencer-Bauer has done. And we do this through not only in positions of power and leadership, but also through education. And that's what I've been involved in for a great part of my life, more than 20 years probably. And I still have students today that are contacting me and I'm friends with, and they've opened their own businesses, they've become artists, they've travelled the world, and I've been fortunate enough to instill some of those passions of my own within them, and that is so rewarding. So in my work, I seek to challenge the submissive nature of women, putting the record straight, I hope, and presenting a new way forward by untypifying, unstereotyping, and calling out past romanticisms in portraiture. And in my work and research over the last couple of years, for each of the women represented here tonight, what I have done is gathered personal information about each of them in terms of symbolism, colour aura, particular stance, where did we come from, asking them questions like, where did you come from? What are your traditions and values? Where are you going? What drives you? What are we seeking? What is your faith and devotion? Who or what empowers you, inspires you? And that's about status and strength. And so I'm interested in discovering the forces that drive New Zealand women in terms of identity. So focusing on the politics, the challenges, the resilience, the can-do attitude of New Zealand women, and the empowerment of us all. What is our unique Femmes de Force? So I want to use tonight the painting of Dame Leva Bjerke, my great friend, wonderful artist and incredible educator. She came to New Zealand, married a New Zealand man from Antwerp, Belgium, and she has been a great inspiration for me over the course of time. And I've worked with her a number of times, and also recently in the last couple of years. So when we look at her painting, she's got this power, and she's in this contrapposto position of facing the viewer, and that's that gaze that I really wanted to show, the challenge, the questioning, the drawing you in. And when you meet, when you see a portrait of another person, it's like meeting someone. You're drawn in. It's like you're asked to say hello, to come forward, to be engaged, to respond. And her colour aura to me was always a very strong one. So I used those the balance of the deep purples and that lovely opposite complementary colour, the yellow, the gold. And I used the gold because for her, she loves Klimt. That is her favourite artist. And so I used it in a duo, double kind of fashion, and where she was wearing this very strong, masculine, I guess, jacket with the collar here. But underneath, she's got this softness, this vulnerability of where we see her body. And yet we've got another form of power where she's actually got this draped, linked chain, and that linked chain comes from the shield, the Belgian shield, and I wanted her to be wearing part of her country while she was placed here in New Zealand. And you can see the sea in the background, and that is relating to where she lives, up on Clifton Hill. We've got the one of the first ships that arrived in Antwerp, and the sea shag just sitting there. I know that she walks the beach all the time. And we've got also, within this jacket, we've got a number of symbols there. I've also used the symbols of Klimt, and we've got in her breast pocket, you'll notice that there's a cathedral, and that is the Antwerp Cathedral, So it's a little bit of home that she loves, and the resonance of that is that it's close to her heart. I know that she misses home, and she goes back to Antwerp whenever she can. Also, we've got the two little words there. I don't know if you've noticed, but if you look closely on the breast pocket and on the sleeve, you'll see the two words "makt mak," and that means unity is strength. And that's what the show is all about, is bringing women together, the unity of us, to bring forward that strength, that resilience, that empowerment. And we've also got the crown. The crown on her head is a symbol of status and power. And it's also the Belgian crown, in fact. So she's wearing, again, another piece of home. We've got a little, I like to use a little bit of humour in my work, and we've got a young man here who's wearing his golden loincloth, and he's actually a bit of a rebel, and he's questioning her right to power, as a lot of men have done in the past for women around the world and in New Zealand, and it's still happening today. So, it's, but all through that, she still looks absolutely emblazoned with gold and confident, and doesn't care what he thinks. And I've got on the table in front of her medal. She is a dame, and so she received that particular medal, and also her etching tool. She's a printmaker, so I wanted to show that as well. So as you look around the room and see the rest of the body of work, do be intrigued by the symbolism, and those women that are in the show are here tonight, ask them questions as to what those symbols actually represent. Well, I'm going to stop there because I could go on for a long time, but I hope that's given you an insight into the show this evening. And as I said, I so wish I could be there with you to celebrate, but that's COVID. Those are COVID times, and this is resilience, I guess, showing up on another platform. So enjoy the evening. I wish you all well. Love you very much, and we'll see you again. Good night.